In this season of The Big Talk, you are going to have access to the most incredible speakers who recently performed at the virtual showcase, which is the culmination of the Big Talk Academy, my 12-week signature speaker training. Be sure to watch every single one of these speakers in this series because they are all equally as inspiring, entertaining, and powerful. And by sharing their important messages, they can change and even save a life. Enjoy. Dona Edwards. Dona worked in the legal field for over 20 years, most recently in-house at corporations as an executive and senior counsel. She was responsible for driving the global intellectual property strategy, including protecting and monetizing innovations, developing a legal department, managing litigations, and providing general legal counsel and advice. Dona is a thought leader and speaker, sharing her stories on the subjects of diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, and empathy, adapted fashion, and scoliosis. Dona is passionate about travel and fashion, and she is a proud graduate of Stanford University, where she earned a Business of Science in Mechanical Engineering, a JD from George Washington University Law School, and an MBA from the University of Virginia, Darden School of Business. Please welcome Dona Edwards with Adaptive Fashion Can Fulfill the Dreams of People with Disabilities.
Self-expression through fashion has been one of my lifelong passions. I know some of you out there may think it's trivial, but fashion has been a part of my life in many beautiful and profound ways. I was very blessed to have wonderful parents and a happy childhood that included countless cherished shopping trips with my mom and dad. You see, my parents were masters of style before the F word, fashionista, was even added to the dictionary, and they created a little fashionista in me. So much so that I was the only one wearing velvet blazers to school in 6th grade. We usually shopped midweek at a local department store called McDonald's. We'd enter into the store and go to our respective departments, and like clockwork, I would pick up a fabulous statement piece and plead with my parents to buy it for me. To the regular eye, this may seem like a simple shopping trip or that I was extremely spoiled, but it wasn't. It was magical for me. For my family, it was freeing, an escape from the seriousness happening in life. More importantly, it was time I got to spend with my parents doing something they loved, and for that reason, I loved it. It was our ritual until it ended abruptly. In 6th grade, the first year of testing for scoliosis started in my elementary school. I had scoliosis. I was one of the 2 to 3% population affected by scoliosis in the US. This diagnosis ended my fashion journey and began my back nightmare. I was in junior high school, those socially formative years, when I started wearing a back brace 23 out of 24 hours a day. I wore this horrible plastic hard shell that was meant to prevent my scoliosis from getting worse by stunting further growth in my spine, but instead it stunted my dreams of fashion and the runway model I just knew I was meant to be. I didn't want anyone to know what was underneath my clothes. My solution was to wear oversized long tops that were unsightly and shapeless. I prayed that nobody touched me, or even worse, when it was time for a new brace, picked up a piece of my disintegrating brace that left a trail of white pieces falling behind me as my brace died a slow death and I fell to pieces on the inside. I was mortified. With support from my parents, I made it through junior high school, but the family bonding shopping trips ended. My body image was destroyed, and I was forced to break up with a fundamental part of me. I never worked in the fashion industry, but my love for fashion never strayed. Despite spending many decades dealing with my back, I spent plenty of fun years with fashion. Fast forward many, many years to 2018. Life threw me a curve, literally. My scoliosis progressed, and I had no quality of life due to excruciating pain. It was time for a 10-hour surgery to straighten my spine. Since my surgery, fashion has been my savior and my nemesis. Fashion has been a huge part of my recovery. You see, I'm single and I live by myself. I have to be independent, I have extreme exhaustion, and I can't bend, lift, or twist. Trying on clothes, opening boxes, and sending back returns were my PT, OT, and exercise. Also, shopping for mainstream clothes kept me hopeful. I would immerse myself in fashion and go to another world with fantasy and glamour. Yes, I saw myself attending fashion shows all over the world or even walking down the red carpet. It was the only time I felt no pain. It allowed me to escape, and maybe I could actually be a model now. I'm almost 3 inches taller. But as I said, fashion has also been my nemesis. I've had so many difficulties getting dressed, from not being able to close zippers and fasteners on my side and back to putting on shoes. I needed adaptive clothing and shoes specifically designed for people with disabilities. But finding adaptive clothes that had style was elusive. And shoes are impossible. With no flexibility in my back, trying to figure out how to tie, buckle, and even put on pull-on shoes has taken me to task. So sweats and sneakers have been my go-to outfit. There are approximately 53 companies and entrepreneurs making adaptive clothing and shoes for people with varying disabilities, injuries, recovering from surgery, or for the aging population. Yes, 53. Most focus on comfort, function, and ease of getting dressed, which are all very important. However, they are often very frumpy. There are some people who are disabled that want more than this. They are worthy of access to stylish clothing so they can feel magical, chic, elegant, pretty, sexy, sophisticated, handsome, or professional. The United Nations estimates that there are 8 billion people worldwide and 1 billion are living with a disability. The fashion industry needs to move into 2021 and acknowledge that fashionable adaptive clothing and shoes need to be a bigger part of the discussion. And profit and difficulty cannot be an excuse. The Return on Disability estimates that the disposable income of people with disabilities is $8 trillion. That is serious purchasing power, yet their needs are invisible. If you can design new collections every season, designed for plus size and pets, the skills and imagination are there, and the profits will follow. So the answers to this problem are in creating a culture of diversity, inclusion, and belonging in every facet of a disabled person's life. If we can let change extend beyond basic laws, if we can allow empathy into our hearts, we can create more ways for people with disabilities to really live. For this to happen, company and its employees must change the way they think and talk about disabilities. It is not a taboo word. The environment should foster diversity and inclusion and accept people with disabilities for who they are and their unique contributions, because it's about creating beautiful clothes and shoes. Companies must also be laser focused on creating a culture of belonging, where people with disabilities feel appreciated and connected. If this isn't enough to shift the focus of the fashion industry, then let empathy be the motivator. Step into the shoes of a person with a disability and imagine what it would feel like if you dreamed of fashion and your dreams were dashed. Let that feeling sink into your heart. There are 3 things that fashion's biggest names and emerging designers can do. First, tap into the talent already hidden in the fashion industry. Make it a safe place for people who are disabled to disclose their disabilities and be authentic without the fear of retaliation, so they can contribute to the designs that serve the disabled. Second, hire persons with a range of disabilities at all levels in the company in all types of roles. Be a magnet for the disabled who love fashion. Finally, I ask you to be brave and commit to making one piece of fashionable adaptive clothing or pair of shoes. Imagine if there was a collective effort. And for those who aren't in the fashion industry that are wondering, what can I do? I say a lot. Invest in companies and entrepreneurs who create adaptive fashion and make sure every disabled person you know is aware of the adaptive fashion companies that do exist. So many don't know there are any choices at all. Fashion is a connection we all have in common, and it brings back wonderful memories for me with my parents. I am a reminder that anyone can become disabled at any time. Lift up people with disabilities and invest your time, talent, and resources in fashionable adaptive clothing and shoes. Please don't forget us. Thank you.
If you desire to be on the virtual showcase stage, hop on over to thebigtalkacademy.com and register now for my 12-week signature speaker training, where you can become certified by the Big Talk Academy and perform on my virtual showcase stage. And if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscription button and notification bell, and definitely share your thoughts in the comments. I will respond to each and every one of you. Big love.